Hello everyone and welcome along to your immediate post-match reaction to Rangers 3, Ross County 1. I feel like I should be saying it was Rangers 12, Ross County 1, given how that game went. But joining me to look back over the game live from Ibrox is Ross Chalmers. How are you doing, Ross?
Yeah, I don't really know how to express my emotions right now. I'm really encouraged by that performance from Rangers. I thought they were great on the night. Not to have more than the 3 goals is unbelievable, really, the way they played. So yeah, I'm pretty high. I thought Rangers came into the game obviously clear they wanted to go top of the league tonight, and they gave it everything. So yeah, I'm in a good mood, even if they didn't get that goal to take them top.
Yeah, it was a very dominant performance from Rangers. I don't think I've ever seen us have so many shots on goal in one game. I don't think I've ever seen us quite as dominant in the 90 minutes, but still not take the chances. And I guess that's the real talking point of the night. We had a real opportunity to go top of the league tonight. We didn't take it, and that's a slight disappointment. But I think it has to be said, I really enjoyed that game as a fan. I really enjoyed that game. It had everything in it. We were attacking, we were playing well. It was hard to pick any fault apart from for the Ross County goal. But I don't think there was much fault in how the team played. Rangers had over 40 shots at goal tonight, so we're not going to do the usual and take them apart one by one.
We'd be here for an hour. We'd be here for an hour going through every single shot.
We'll not do that, but we'll pick out some of the key moments. We'll pick out some of the key performers and start to talk about them. So I guess the first one, didn't have to wait long for the first goal. The atmosphere was really good tonight, Ross, right from the start. It feels like there's a bit of buzz around the place again, and it didn't take long for the players to up the ante again on that one. It was Cyril Dessers after 5 minutes. A lovely through ball. He took it well, and then a wee dink over the keeper. You called it outrageous at the time. Are you sticking with the outrageous description?
Well, from our angle on the gantry, it looked like an outrageous finish to me. I think it takes a lot of technique to be able to do that when the ball's coming through on the bounce. It also takes a lot of composure, which is something that we've not been able to label with Cyril Dessers this season. Even though he is grabbing goals, I think we all still think he could have that wee bit more composure. I thought he showed it in abundance there. That was such a good finish. Just want to say on the atmosphere as well, you picked up on it there. There's a real buzz coming to Ibrox at the moment, which is great to see for domestic games. Of course, we get it in Europe, that's really good, but it's really refreshing to see it for domestic games. Everyone's right up for it. And the players responded to that in the first 5-10 minutes, and I'm glad they got the goal at that point. But yeah, I'm sticking by that it was an outrageous finish from Cyril Dessers. I love to see it.
Yeah, as you say, fans are well up for it at the moment. There's a feel-good factor around Rangers. I had plenty of friends messaging me earlier on today saying I'm actually quite nervous about the game against Ross County at Ibrox tonight, and they had that sort of as you said, the sort of feel good around it, and just the anticipation and a wee bit of anxiety in there about will we get the job done. I had no doubt we would get the job done, and the players certainly lived up to that expectation. Cyril Dessers got that first goal. He probably should have had about 5 in the first half, Ross.
I think that's fair, yeah.
Probably should have had about 5 in the first half. He was unlucky with the one he hits the post. There's one where he probably should square it to Matondo. And then just before half time, I'm not going to go through them all, don't worry. But just before half time, he does get his second goal. It looks like a very good header, and one of the more difficult chances he had of the half. I've seen some comments saying it might have come off his shoulder. I've not seen it back as yet, but it was an utterly dominant performance, and Cyril Dessers grabbing 2 in that first half. He was coming in for a lot of criticism actually from a few people that we know. I thought he was man of the match in that first half, to be honest. What did you make of Cyril Dessers in that first half?
I think it's always the case with Cyril Dessers, isn't it, that we're looking for that clinical number 9. Now, he's getting a lot of goals at the moment. I still don't think he's that clinical striker that a lot of fans are looking for, so I think that's always going to be labelled against him, unfortunately. But I'm with you, I thought he was good in the first half. I've seen Cyril Dessers at times where the ball comes into him, it doesn't really stick, or he looks quite clumsy in possession. I didn't think that at all tonight, and he looked really up for it. He looked like he had a point to prove tonight, so he'll look at that first half and go, well, I've managed to grab 2 goals out of it. Of course you'd like him to grab more goals, of course you would. There's a lot of chances, I have to be honest with you should probably take. There is one where I think, does it ricochet off the post and he goes into the goalkeeper and he turns round. It's an unbelievable block from the Ross County
I forgot
defender.
about that one. Yeah, that was an insane
Well,
block.
when you were going through all the chances, I'd actually forgotten a lot of them, to be honest with you, because there have been so many tonight. But yeah, that was an unbelievable block from the defender. But yeah, look, he probably should have had more goals tonight, but he ends the game with 2 goals. It's not the worst thing ever, is it, for a striker to end the game with 2 goals? And the ball in from Tavernier again is just what you come to expect. I will say, when Tav delivered that ball and it was coming to the end of the half, and I said, don't cross it, because I just thought it was one of those ones where he's just hopelessly putting into the box. But I was wrong. It was a fantastic cross, and whether it hits off his head or his shoulder, I don't care. It's a really good finish from Cyril Dessers, and I think his overall performance in the first half, he deserved that.
Yeah, did you hear that? Everyone, Ross admitted he was wrong.
That's rare.
We'll clip that one up and keep it for later. We've kind of skipped. We kind of went to the start and end of the half there, but let's go to the bit in between where Rangers had been peppering the Ross County goal. The Ross County goalkeeper had an absolutely phenomenal game. He had the game of his life. I think he made something like 17 or 18 saves in total throughout the game, which was incredible. But Ross County levelled up after, I think it was just before the half-hour mark or just after the half-hour mark. They levelled up, much to the surprise of everyone in the stadium. Yet again, John Souttar getting caught under a big loopy ball forward, and it just put the defence at 6s and 7s. How much of a surprise was that goal at that point, and what did you make of how it all played out?
I love how you described it as a big loopy ball. I don't think I've ever heard someone describe that kind of pass like that. Yeah, I think I'd actually said to you on the gantry when the ball was played over the top that I was like, there we go again, we're getting caught out by that ball. You know, that is something in John Souttar's game, that he does seem to get caught under the ball quite a lot. So that was very disappointing. I didn't actually think they would score from the chance. It is a good ball in. From Ross County, and it's a very good finish as well. As it's Simon Murray with the goal,
yeah.
So it was a good goal from Ross County's perspective. But based on the balance of play in that first half, I could not believe that they had managed to grab the equaliser at that point. And yeah, it is disappointing. It looks like maybe a wee bit of a defensive mistake again there from John Souttar. I've seen some criticism of maybe Connor Goldston as well. His positioning, does he need to come across? It's one again we're going to have to see back, and we're going to have to judge that. But yeah, I think at that stage of the game, it was really disappointing that Rangers had put so much into that first half an hour, and Ross County, really, that was the only chance they'd had at the half, and they took it. Now, you could, from their perspective, you could say it's clinical, but yeah, from our perspective, it's a really, really poor goal to lose, and it's another goal again that we feel like we're putting ourselves into these situations. Like, teams aren't carving us open, we just seem to get in these situations when we give away poor goals. So yeah, it was disappointing to go in at half-time 1-0.
We didn't win at half-time 1-0 and half-time 2-1.
Good point. You've absolutely completely thrown me off here because of the chronological order. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
forget that bit.
Just to confirm for everyone, I know you were all watching, but it was 2-1 at half-time.
It's shocking for me. It shows you where my head's been tonight with all the chances in this game. I can't believe that.
We were 2-1 up at half-time, and I was happy to go in at half-time, Ross, in the lead, but you were expecting much more from the second half, and the players came out in the second half and played as though they knew the Ross County were there for the taking, and they just had to find the back of the net. They created 6 or 7 chances in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Oscar Cortez was on at that point in place of Ravi Batondo. I wonder if that was an injury, or I wonder if it was kind of the plan for Cortez to get 45 minutes. I thought he showed up really well, and we'll come back on to him in a minute, but the players started like they knew what was there for them, and they started like they knew what the potential was for this game. Yeah,
they started with a real intensity in the second half, and I think the way Ross County had played in that first half, it was clear that they were going to try and sit deep, and they were going to try and frustrate, and they were going to try and catch us in the break. And it's not a criticism of Ross County. I expect most teams to come here and do that. So yeah, Rangers came out with that intensity. I think maybe the substitution, there was the idea behind that as well, as you're bringing someone fresh on that left-hand side. I think we can all say, we maybe won't spend a lot of time on it in this podcast, but Cortez, every single time you see him now, he's really impressing. I mean, that he is a direct winger, something we've looked for a long time. Maybe Scott Wright could be described as a direct winger, but he doesn't do it enough, and he doesn't beat his man enough, and he doesn't have that final ball, whereas Cortez, you think, with a wee bit more game time, he looks like he's going to be a really clinical player for us. So maybe that was the idea behind Clement injecting a little bit of that pace into the game, a little bit of intensity. But yeah, we started great in the second half.
Yeah, I was going to touch on Cortez there. I felt like we saw all the good sides of Cortez's game in that second half. We saw his ability to take on a man. We saw the speed at which he can do that. We saw the close control. We saw the fight he has to try and win the ball back as high up as possible. We saw a bit of the defensive work as well, and we also saw some of his movement, which I thought was really interesting, because he actually had a great chance. Some of the lights have just gone out here. I'm waiting for the rest of them to go out. He had a great chance where he was actually positioned right in the centre of the goal, and he should have found the back of the net from there. But I think I'm really excited by him, and the more I see him, the more excited I do get.
I think the fans are the same, aren't they? I think everyone in this ground at the moment is excited by Oscar Cortez. When he was coming on the pitch, you seen him, doing a little warm up before he came on. There was a buzz in the crowd, like, okay, we're bringing Cortez on. I think Matondo had a pretty decent first half, so maybe
Probably
it was an injury.
scored.
Yeah, probably should have scored. Maybe it was an injury, but I think Cortez, he looks like another level for us at this point, and it's great to see him getting more minutes again. Diamande the same. I thought he looked good when he came on, so looks like these January signings are really giving us a boost we wanted.
Yeah, Rangers did eventually get the third goal from John Souttar in the 90-something minute. But Ross, just sum up your views and your emotions as that second half was going on, and chance after chance was being saved, we've been put wide, being blocked, but they weren't hitting the back of the net, and it did seem to get you a bit nervy as well towards the last 10 minutes.
Well, earlier on in this podcast, I didn't even know what the score was at half time. That shows you where my head's been this game. I said it to you a couple of times in the gantry. I could not believe the score was only 2-1. The amount of chances that Rangers had created in that second half, they'd probably created more in the second than they did in the first. It was Ross County. I think they'll come away from Ibrox tonight and really can't believe that they managed to get out with only a 2-goal deficit. It's going to come back to that debate again, isn't it, around the striker? If you were to bring in a striker in January, a clinical striker,
I don't think it's all on the striker, though. There were so many shots were from midfielders.
I'm just playing
and from
devil's
wingers.
advocate. I'm just playing that. That is going to be one of the discussions that come out of this, isn't it? If you miss a lot of chances in a game of football, you're always going to look at the number 9, aren't you? You're going to look at that central striker, and I think tonight, I think it was a 5xG or something like that Rangers had. That's remarkable that they've only managed to score 3 goals. So, yeah, my emotions were up and down during that second half. What I will say is, and we touched on it earlier in the podcast, I wasn't frustrated. It was more of a disbelief. The performance for you tonight was really encouraging. That was a real Rangers performance of, this title race is on, and we're going to give everything we've got to make a real impact in it. So, look, yeah, up and down that second half, but we've managed to get the goal at the end through John Souttar. It's a good header, good cross in again. So we'll take that, and the atmosphere in the stadium when that goal went in was electric again, and everyone was behind the team to try and get it, and that's exactly what you want in these games. You want something to play for. That's the whole point of a title race, the passion involved in it. So yeah, it was great to be here tonight. It was a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a pleasure to be at Ibrox. Most of the time it's a pleasure to be at Ibrox, I guess.
When we're winning, yeah.
I haven't a few of the bad ones there, as I said that. But yeah, I think 3-1, more than deserved. It should have been a lot more. And I think, as you say, the atmosphere was fantastic, especially towards the end. I have noticed the last couple of games that almost everyone is staying to the end.
Really good to see.
Ibrox is a lot fuller as we get towards the end of the game. There was obviously a lot of was it the Livingston game? I can't remember what game it was, but afterwards there was a lot of frustration from fans that the stadium was about a quarter full with 10 minutes left. But now we're seeing a complete change in that attitude from a lot of fans. Fans are making the effort to stay for longer, and you feel that synergy that Philippe Clement was talking about as well between the fans and the players as well, which is really good. Just to finish us up, just before I get your man of the match, Todd Cantwell I thought had a vital role to play in the game today, and I think we're really seeing, after me being very critical of him, actually I'm sure it's not anything to do with my criticism, after me being very critical of him, Todd Cantwell is really stepping up in the last 3, 4, 5 games or so, and we're starting to see a real end product, but also real control over the game from. I
will never not take advantage of praising Todd Cantwell. I thought he was phenomenal tonight again. I think this is I tweeted it earlier, I think this is the best he's been at Rangers actually. I know when he came in last season in January he was really good and he contributed a lot in that second half of the season, but I think this is the best we've seen him, because I think you've made a good point there, controlling games. He's playing in that number 10 role. He's not really dropping as deep as he was under Michael Beale to get the ball and get involved in everything. He's understanding that if he actually stays higher and receives the ball higher, he can make so much more of a difference. And I think that's what you're really seeing with him. See around the box now, it's Todd Cantwell orchestrating everything. He'll get the ball, he'll play it wild, he'll go and get it back, he'll switch it back out again, and then he's still trying those kind of intricate passes or the mazy runs. He's a joy to watch at the moment, actually, Todd Cantwell. I really enjoy watching him, and I think that's the best, praise I can give him right now. He's just
I think in recent games as well, or prior to Christmas, it was John Lundstrom that was taking on that role at the edge of the box, and there's been a clear shift to Todd Cantwell taking it on, and Todd Cantwell's the one you want at the edge of the box for all it. John Lundstrom can play a nice pass or whatever. He's not as creative as Cantwell is, and he's not as nimble on his feet, shall we say, to create those chances and make the secondary runs off. So I think it's been really impressive from Todd Cantwell. Right, Ross, just to round us off for this post-match immediate reaction, Cyril Dessers got man of the match in the stadium. I think he was really good tonight. He was getting in all the places you want a striker to get to. Yes, he's not as clinical as we probably want him to be, but he still scored 2 goals, and he could have had many more. I think he was a good shout. Probably my man of the match. Who would you give it to?
I've got to go Todd Cantwell again. I really do. I just thought in that second half again he grabbed it and he really wanted to make the difference for Rangers, and I think we've seen that again, and I think everyone in the stadium, like I said, is enjoying watching them at the moment. So yeah, maybe it's a bit harsh that your striker doesn't get it when he scores 2 goals, but I have to go for Todd Cantwell because he's really making this Rangers team his own. So it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, yes. Well, Ross, thank you very much for joining us here on the Gantry. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Plenty to come up this week on the TII channel, so make sure you've subscribed to the channel and you'll get a notification every single time we go live or a video is uploaded. Make sure to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed the content as well. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and until next time, goodbye.